Tokyo DisneySea is truly the most immersive and impressive theme park in the world. Stepping inside the gates feels like you're entering a different universe altogether. From the Mediterranean harbor and American waterfront to the Arabian coast and the brand new Fantasy Springs, this park has something for absolutely everyone. I still can't believe it was built. But it's not all roses when it comes to visiting. Tokyo Disney parks are extremely different than those here in the US. Purchasing day tickets and premier access, booking your hotels, and even buying food in the park is a completely different experience. For example, Andy and I arrived to DisneySea on a Tuesday at 6:30 in the morning and we were already far back in line. And the park didn't even open until 9 a.m. For reference, this was in September during the supposed off-peak season. That meant that by the time we got into the park, some virtual queues for Fantasy Springs were already gone. The last thing you want to do is make the same mistakes we did, and you won't have to thanks to this video. I'm about to take you through what you can expect while visiting DisneySea, and at the end, I'll give you the #1 tip to having the best time possible, even if you have to take out a second mortgage to do so. We have loads more Disney and Universal content coming up. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. It's totally free and it really helps us grow. So to start off, we highly recommend you stay at a Disney hotel. One of the best perks about staying on property is Happy Entry. This is where you can enter the park 15 minutes earlier than regular day guests. It doesn't sound like much, but trust me, it makes a huge difference. To get Happy Entry into both parks, you'll want to stay at Hotel Miracosta, Fantasy Springs Hotel, or Disney Ambassador Hotel. But for Toy Story Hotel, Tokyo Disneyland Hotel, and Disney Celebration Hotel, you're only eligible for Happy Entry into Disneyland, which we did not know before booking. Make sure you're checking the Tokyo Disney website. Things are constantly changing and you want to make sure you're as up to date as possible. And this is super important. Tokyo DisneySea does not open when it's supposed to. It's almost always an early opening. When we visited in September, we spent 4 days total at the parks, and every day it was supposed to open at 9 a.m., but instead they opened at 8:45 a.m. This meant that Happy Entry was at 8:30, and we heard that during really busy periods, they will open the parks as early as 8, meaning Happy Entry would start at 7:45. When you check into your hotel, they will give you physical tickets for Happy Entry, so you will know what time you should arrive at the parks. Now we're going to talk about tickets. First of all, my pro tip is to skip purchasing tickets directly through Tokyo Disney's website. This is because you're more than likely to get your credit card blocked for suspicious activity. This happened to me 3 times, resulting in me spending 3 hours on hold with my bank. Instead, you should consider purchasing your tickets through Klook. The best part about this service is the ability to purchase experiences in Japan in your home currency. I'll leave a link in the description box below. On sign up, enter promo code PandyTravels and you will receive discounts on your first 5 bookings. And unlike here in the US, you can only buy your tickets 2 months in advance at 2 p.m. local Tokyo time. And they often sell out. This means you're going to want to set reminders for yourself 2 months before your trip so you don't forget. Tickets are cheaper than here in the US, but keep in mind that line bypass, called Premier Access there, can really add up at 1,500 to 2,500 yen per person per attraction. Keep in mind there are no annual passes or park hopper tickets for Tokyo Disneyland Resort. If you want to visit both parks in a single day, you must have tickets for each. So you have your hotel booked, your park tickets are secured, and you're excited to go. But how do you get there? Ubers and taxi cabs are very expensive in Tokyo, so you'll want to avoid using them if possible. The great part about Tokyo Disneyland Resort is that it's connected via public transportation. If you're staying in Tokyo, it should be no more than 1 hour to get there by train, and if you're staying around Tokyo Station, it's only a 16-minute ride. Now, like Disneyland and Walt Disney World, there is a monorail, but with one rather large catch. You have to pay to ride it. Yes, you heard that right. It's like any other public transit system in Tokyo. The cost per trip is 300 yen, which is approximately $2 USD right now. So if you're going to be taking it a few times, we highly recommend you get everyone in your party 3-day passes for 1,200 yen, which is around $8 USD. This is easier and cheaper. Walking to the parks from most of the hotels is nearly impossible. The area of land is much bigger than it looks. We highly recommend you don't go to the parks on the day you arrive. This is because hours of operation are much shorter in Tokyo, typically closing around 9 p.m. And it's not like the US parks where you can jump in line at 8:59 p.m. for your favorite attraction and expect to ride it. They're very strict about when the park closes because so many cast members rely on public transportation to get home. Now the day is finally here. You are going to DisneySea.
Oh my god! I'm so freaking excited!
Let's talk about what it's like to arrive there. First and foremost, you won't like this, but you need to get up early. And I mean really early. If you have happy entry, make sure you check what time it's for and plan to be there around 1 hour beforehand. If you don't have happy entry, you'll need to be there much earlier. Like I said in the intro, we were there from a Monday to Thursday in September, which is considered low season, and we got to DisneySea at 6:30 a.m. and there were already a ton of people in line. There will be many organized separate lines when you arrive, so pick one and sit on the ground. If sitting on the ground bothers you, you may want to buy a floor mat before your trip. Our tip is not to go to the lines on the ends, but instead head for the middle. We saw a lot of line cutting on the ends. Around 1 hour before the park opens, they'll have everyone stand up and move closer to the front. Then, around 30 minutes before it opens, they'll do that once more. This is when the anticipation really starts to build. There are people everywhere and everyone is super excited to get in. You'll go through security where a machine randomly selects people to be searched. You'll then be directed to a new line where you scan your tickets to enter. Have you been to DisneySea? What was your experience like arriving in the morning? I'm curious to know. Now that you're inside the park and that stressful experience is over, let's move on to another stressful experience, which is booking experiences and rides. There are 4 types of passes in the Tokyo Disneyland app. Yes, 4. You have Standby Pass, Priority Pass, Premier Access, and Entry Request. Standby Pass is free and is used for new attractions like the one found in Fantasy Springs. Think of it like a virtual queue here in the US. They also use Standby Pass for merch shops during special events. We were at Disneyland proper for 2 days, and neither day we could get a pass to go into the Halloween shop. If there's special merch you want to get, make sure you prioritize booking that as they go insanely quick. Priority Pass was introduced for the 40th anniversary, and surprisingly they kept it around, at least for now. There are a few rides in the park you can book like Lightning Lane, but for free, which is a really nice touch. Premier Access is like individual Lightning Lane here in the US. Shows and rides on this list cost between 1,500 and 2,500 yen per person per ride. Entry Request is probably the most frustrating of the bunch. Shows at Tokyo Disneyland Resort work differently than here in the domestic parks. It's a lottery-based system. You pick the time of day you'd like to watch the show and hope for the best. We have no idea how it picks people, but we were rejected many times. Once you are rejected, you cannot try again. You are simply out of luck, which really stinks considering their shows are amazing. So how do you book these passes? As soon as you scan your ticket, you are able to book your passes, which includes standby into the newest land, Fantasy Springs. Now remember how I said we arrived at 6:30? Well, we were too late to secure some of the passes for Fantasy Springs and missed out on riding Anna and Elsa's Frozen journey. So again, please arrive early. And keep in mind, Japanese people are very strict on the rules. So even if you have a heartbroken kiddo who wanted to ride Frozen, there are no magical moments like here at home. It will be a firm no. At the time of recording, to enter Fantasy Springs, you must have a standby queue for one of the attractions. Otherwise, they will not let you in. We saw a ton of people begging and pleading to no avail. Unfortunately and stupidly, you're not able to add a credit card to the app before you visit. Believe me, we tried many times. This means that once you enter through those gates, you're going to have to fill out your credit card information, leaving more wasted time. And to boot, there are so many people around you, service will be slow or non-existent. And your credit card provider will likely need to text you a code. This created a very stressful situation for us. What we did to combat this is just start walking into the park until we regain signal. When When you do get signal, we recommend first booking the free experiences you want to do, followed by the paid ones, since the free experiences tend to book up faster. Keep in mind, like the US parks, you're only able to book one attraction at a time for both systems, so choose wisely. I personally recommend booking Indiana Jones as your first free selection and Journey to the Center of the Earth as your first paid. Both have extremely long lines. And what about the lines? Probably the worst part about DisneySea is the sheer amount of people and lineups for absolutely everything. You're going to want to pack your patient pants when you go. It's not unusual for lines to be 150 minutes plus, and for simple food stand snacks to be 60 minutes plus. You may want to make a list of priority attractions and snacks for you and your party, because there is no way to get it all accomplished in 1 or even 2 days. The park is gigantic. And the food. If you're not willing to wait in ridiculously long lines for food, your options will be limited. We recommend booking sit-down restaurants when possible, but keep in mind that sometimes waits on the website can be 30 to 60 minutes just to enter. Yes, we had that situation happen to us. The tech is absolutely horrible. You do have the option at some locations to mobile order, and we highly recommend you take advantage of this. To be honest, we were not huge fans of really anything we ate at DisneySea, so we definitely wouldn't tell you to wait in long lines. The best food we ate while at DisneySea came from Fantasy Springs, the Royal Banquet of Arendelle. I'm not saying this is the best restaurant in the park, but it was definitely the best food we had. Make sure to book a reservation, as it's the only way you can go and experience it. They won't even let you look inside. Again, Japanese people are very strict on the rules. Oh, by the way, get the alien mochi balls from Zambini Brothers restaurant. You will not be disappointed. And what about the merch at DisneySea? Now, this was one of the most surprising things to us. If you're used to visiting the domestic parks, you may be let down by the merch at DisneySea. There is not a lot of clothing, and when you do find it, it's not very attractive and the quality is not great. On top of that, there is not a lot of ride-specific merch, which was a huge letdown considering they have a ton of unique attractions that we don't have at home, and we would have loved souvenirs to remind us of that. They do have some really cool popcorn buckets though. Highly recommend those as they're not overpriced. I ended up purchasing 2 and I absolutely love them. And finally, let's talk about the attractions. There's not a ton of thrilling rides here in the park, but the theming at DisneySea is seriously next level, which more than makes up for it. Let's go through some examples. In American Waterfront, you have their version of Tower of Terror. While I do like Hollywood Tower of Terror in Florida most, the exterior of the Japanese version has green lightning that hits it as an effect, and it was incredible to see at night. The Indiana Jones roller coaster, while short, has water, smoke, and even fire effects. It really makes you feel like you're part of Indiana's world. Do this one early in the morning to avoid the 90-minute wait time. Then, of course, you have the brand new Fantasy Springs, which has incredible rock work and water features throughout. This land is truly stunning and boasts the best Frozen ride in any park, and it is definitely a top contender for my favorite ride of all time. And for my absolute #1 tip, get a vacation package. Yes, it's super expensive. Yes, you will need to take out a second mortgage.
I declare bankruptcy!
But if you're a Disney lover and don't want to deal with the headache of booking rides and dining reservations on their outdated system, this package is a must. It really takes the complication out of your day, and there's even special areas for vacation package guests to watch the shows from. Think of the vacation package like their version of VIP, except without the guide and much more affordable. The next time we go back, we will definitely be going this route, and we highly recommend you do too. Do you have any questions about visiting Tokyo DisneySea? Let me know in the comments below, and I promise to answer all of them. And with that, I'll see you on the next one. Bye!